Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I'm your host, Nathan Ragland, and today's episode is something else. Today we have Holidaykiss, an independent hyperpop artist whose debut EP, Once and Future, is out January 15th. We talk a lot about the EP, which is one I highly recommend, especially if you want an introduction to hyperpop and how it can be refined and redefined. Seriously, it's quite the trip. However, before we get started with the podcast, I want to warn you guys. During this conversation, we get really deep and personal. This is the most I've opened up in a podcast. We talk about struggling and depression, and even if it's only a fraction of a moment, it still hits hard. If this stuff is too much for you, I understand, and you're free not to listen. I will have a link in the description for a good place to start for online therapy if this is something you struggle with and you need help. I do hope you enjoyed the podcast and listen to Once in Future. This EP and the music that Holidaykiss is producing right now, it's one that's truly going to stick with me for a little bit, and I hope you give them a chance. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. Is this your first podcast? I remember seeing something about a first interview the other day, but is this like the first podcast you've been on?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, are you excited, nervous, anything?
Yeah, I'm proud. Yeah, this is super. It's a super cool opportunity.
I'm glad you decided to take me up on it. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Sorry if I yawn a lot. I yawn a lot whether I'm tired or not.
I'm not gonna overly stress about it. If nothing else, it helps sort of set the vibe I'm trying to go for. Because if nothing else, I always try to go for like calm, cool, casual conversation to where you just express, like, you talk about your art because it's what you're passionate about more than anything else.
So. Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, it doesn't matter who comes on the podcast. I'm always blown away with whoever I get on here. Like, for example, whenever I had Nat on the podcast, that blew my mind. So.
Yeah, Nat's awesome. I love her.
She really is. She really is. Oh, by the way, I want to say thank you so much for letting me go ahead and listen to Once in Future. I am absolutely in love with it.
Thank you so much.
I know, absolutely. I was like, I've been listening back to it like several times, partially to prep for the interview, but also because it's just legitimately that good. And I'm gonna straight up tell you, I'm straight up tell you, you are like my introduction to hyperpop as a whole. So I mean, this is like, you are a good introduction in my personal.
That's such an honor.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna be talking a whole lot about like, you know, hyperpop and all this different kind of stuff. But if I just ask just randomly, like, what exactly got you interested in that kind of genre?
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess the cliche answer for a lot of people is 100 gex. And I guess I can say, and I guess I can say, yeah, 100 gex was.
Okay, I have yet to like sit down and actually like listen to them, more or less.
100 gex are pretty good.
Okay. Should I just start all the way from the beginning with them, or should I jump to like 1,000 gex or something like that?
Yeah, jump to 1,000 gex.
Jump to 1,000 gex. Duly noted. I'll probably do that. Tomorrow night at work. Yeah. So I work night shifts, and that's just draining.
Oh God, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the podcast with Nat, but like I drive a forklift around and stuff, so I like listen to music all the time. So.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off work on Friday because I have a shift and that's when the EP comes out.
Oh yeah. You want to be there for like that celebration more or less.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I totally get that. Anyway, shall we jump right into it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Robin. Before we get started, I must ask the icebreaker question I ask for every single guest. What is your most unpopular art opinion?
Oh, that's tough. Oh, what? I really like the movie Freddy Got Fingered. I think.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
I think it's like, okay, it's a movie that's famously considered one of the worst movies of all time.
Right.
Like, I think Roger Ebert said it was below bottom of the barrel. But I think there's a lot of genuine like commentary to be found within it, and I think it's like a genuinely really like well constructed movie. It's just not going for what you think it's going for.
So have like a different mindset going into it, and it's actually one of the better films out there.
I mean, I wouldn't call it one of the better films out there. I'd call it a good film.
A good film. Okay.
You just have to understand its intent,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is pure irony and making fun of the state of thousands comedies.
You know what? Okay, so I'll also say I haven't personally seen the film, but I've seen like tons of
Yeah,
people like bashing it left and right. But I also get where you're coming from, seeing what I have seen of it.
yeah,
Like it makes sense. I might have to sit down and if I ever do decide to watch the film, I might like try to have that kind of mindset because I get where you're getting at. I actually
yeah.
okay. Okay. But Freddy Got Fingered is actually a good film. Is that a hill you're
Yeah.
willing to die on?
Yes, I'm willing to die on the hill. I think it's a great film.
Then, if that's the case, I can't think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube, follow on whatever streaming platform you prefer, and follow us on Twitter at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. They are they are a hyperpop artist teaming with former guest and friend of the podcast Left at London for the amazing duo Wow OK. They have their own debut EP Once in Future coming out January 15th. Welcome to the podcast, Robin, aka Holidaykiss.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Yeah, tired after work.
Right, absolutely. But hey, you work on, making that money one way or another.
Yeah, and just had a cheesesteak, so.
Oh, there we go.
Surviving.
There we go. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I saw this on your Twitter. Are you around Philadelphia?
Yeah, I live in Philadelphia. I live like literally right next to a cheesesteak place.
Okay.
So I eat a little bit more cheesesteak and cheese fries than I probably should.
I mean, when you're in Philadelphia and they're known for their cheesesteak, I don't think there's too much,
Yeah, it's part of the culture.
Okay, and I have to ask, I haven't personally been there, but what is your preferred place for a cheesesteak?
I guess the place that I live right next to, it's called Ishkabibbles.
Okay.
But we just shorten it to Ishki's.
Okay.
It's like I can literally walk out my door and like in 2 seconds be in Ishki's.
Oh, there we go. I mean,
and it's really good.
If nothing else, convenience certainly helps with bringing it a higher rating, right?
Yeah. I get what is it? I get cheesesteak with whiz, fried onions, ketchup, mayo, and then small cheese fries. God, it's good as fuck.
You are making me hungry, and I might have to find some way to get myself to Philadelphia sometime soon.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, before we divulge too much into food and all stuff like that, let's get back to you when it comes to art. More specifically, the origin stories of Holidaykiss. What exactly got you interested in art and music in the first place?
So I feel like for like my entire life, I always wanted to do something with art. Like when I was a kid, I really wanted to be an animator.
Okay.
And then like I want to be a filmmaker for a little bit. I don't know. I just like the idea of creative expression sounded really exciting for me and intriguing to me. And then, in middle school, I started getting into music through rhythm games.
Okay.
Like Osu Tatake Oendan is a really big one for me. Rhythm Heaven. And then like getting into a lot of bands whose lyrics like helped me through shit, I guess.
Okay. Is there any bands that you can think off the top of your head, or?
AJJ is a really big one.
Okay.
Formerly known as Andrew Jackson Jihad. Block Party is really big. Weezer is really big. Daft Punk and Justice are really big on the music side.
There we go.
Like, I don't know. The idea of impacting people through music, like making people feel like they're not alone or feel like, I don't know, just any sort of emotion from it is really my goal. And it has been this whole time, I guess.
Okay. For you, when did it go from being just like a love for music that's something to help you get through to like actually wanting to make it like a true career? Like something that you could actually passionately go for and like make something out of it?
That was in like the last half of high school.
Okay.
Uh, I was making like vaporwave and future funk around that time. And it was pretty good, right? It was decent. I made like $40 off of it, so I'll call that a dub.
It's more than what I've made off of music, which is nothing. So like I haven't made music, so
Yeah. So I don't know. I People were like, "Hey, you're like your production's pretty good," and I was just creating more and more varied things, and I thought like, you know, I've tried and failed at so many creative outlets, and this is the first one that I can truly be consistently good at and consistently makes me happy. So from then on, I just decided like right here and then like this is what I'm going to do.
honestly, I know exactly where you're coming from on that one because I I'll say for personal experience or whatnot, like I've always also loved art and such, and like I went to college to be a filmmaker and such, and I've made some films and they've gone to film festivals and won awards and such. But like this podcast that I've been doing, this is like the happiest and like the most rewarding experience more than anything else when it comes to like creative endeavors, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But a little less on me. Let's focus back on you for a second there. I know you mentioned AJJ and Weezer and all stuff like that. Are those kind of influences that made you like want to pursue music, or were there other ones sort of at play?
Definitely. I'd say like the first couple bands I got into, like the first band I ever got into was Lemon Demon,
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I respect
which is
that.
like pre Spirit Phone. Like that was like 2013,
Oh,
2012.
okay.
So I got into Lemon Demon. Then I got into Gorillaz and Blur, just everything Damon Albarn has made,
There we go.
and then Weezer. Yeah, yeah. What the question was like their big influences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those are all huge influences on both like my personal development and just like the music I enjoy and make.
Oh, there we go. Well, speaking of the music that you do make, the one that a lot of people tend to like spearhead you to would be like hyperpop. For those who don't know, what how exactly would you describe hyperpop music?
Uh, I used to say that it was. I used to call my own music like music that sounds like how Mountain Dew flavors taste.
I,
It's like like typically hyperpop is like really energetic,
yeah.
really digital. I've described it to some people as like the combination of all the styles of music that you'd get made fun of in high school for listening to.
Okay. Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Just with like an electronic glue on top of it all.
Okay, no, I totally get where you're coming from. What exactly drew you to making that kind of music?
Um, it was fun. It was a fun sound, and I really enjoyed its energy. I wouldn't say that Once in Future and what's coming after Once in Future fully follows in the line of like super intense, like loud, crazy, over the topness. But I still, okay. I know you mentioned Nat was on the podcast earlier.
Right, right.
She listened to Once in Future. The first time she listened to it, she told me it sounds like hyperpop if it took mood stabilizers and started to cry.
You know what? I mean, we'll definitely talk about it more, but like again, you sent me a advanced copy of it more or less, and like that is the most accurate description I think I've ever heard. Like that's like surprisingly accurate. Like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. I really want to bring a level of like subtlety to the genre because I
Right.
feel a lot of it's very in your face, over the top.
Oh, I absolutely. I get where you're coming from on that aspect. So I want to say, what would be like the holiday kiss sort of, I guess creative kiss, I should say, when it comes to hyperpop as a whole. Like, what do you want to bring to it that makes it different and unique than like the general
Yeah,
consensus of it?
I mean, just what I said. Like a level of like dynamics to it, a level of subtlety to it. I want complexity in it because I really enjoy hyperpop and
Hmm.
making hyperpop, But to be completely honest, I don't listen to hyperpop a lot.
Okay. No, that's honestly fair.
Just because hyperpop is really fun to listen to, but in short bursts. It's like an
Yeah.
audio drug. Like it just gets you super excited and hyper. But
And,
I don't think it's something that I could consistently listen to.
no, I honestly, I completely understand where you're coming from, especially with the drug things. Like you get the high of like, this sounds awesome, this sounds great,
Yeah,
and then after a while, it's like, why did I even listen to this in the first place? Come on, man.
yeah. I mean, there's a couple artists though that I think like there's a couple artists that really blow me away, and I feel like my music's pretty like within their realm of hyperpop. Like Underscores does really good stuff.
Okay.
Knapsack, Riley the musician is crazy.
Okay. I need to expand my hyperpop realm a little bit, so I'll definitely need to like write those names down.
Yeah, I
That's
can send them to you after the podcast.
awesome. I would greatly appreciate that. But speaking of sending stuff to the podcast or whatnot, I want to also backtrack a little bit whenever you mentioned Nat. Like I said before, she's actually appeared on the podcast. Wonderful guest. I would love to have her a million times over. How exactly did you first get associated with her? Was it with her call for the WLW Brockhampton?
Yes. Did she
Okay.
mention that?
She did mention that, yes.
Yeah,
I just want to know how it was from like your perspective, more or less.
I don't think I've ever told her this, but I didn't know who she was and I didn't even know her vines.
Okay.
But before my current girlfriend, my now girlfriend, sent me her tweet being like, "Hey, I'm looking for a WLW artists to try to like make music together." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I don't think this is gonna work, but I'll shoot my shot
There we go.
and see what happens." And she enjoyed what I sent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, "Okay, I want to make a song with you. If you can try to write a good pop song, like I'll work on it." And I tried a couple times and it like they weren't very good. And then I wrote this one song that is gonna be on the first Wow OK project, whatever that
Okay.
ends up being.
Okay.
That is just fucking insane. Like I think I made it like late 2017, early 2018, and it's still one of my favorite things I've ever written. I think it's
Okay.
just brilliant.
Okay. Okay.
She loved it, and then we met up. We stayed as like friends, but not like frequently talking friends.
Gotcha.
And then October of 2019, we met up IRL because she was in the area for a tour she was doing. And then yeah, we've been super close ever since.
There we go. No, that's always awesome to hear. And I will say, that little tease for the wow okay, that was ooh,
Yeah,
that gets my dopamine going more than anything else.
yeah.
Like
Get excited.
no, I've been excited ever since you guys first debuted the project at the Wild Wild Fest, the Minecraft festival. I was there for that one when
Yeah,
you guys debuted all that stuff, and like I've just been blown away ever since. I will say though, I was lucky enough that Nat actually sent me the Discord remix like before you guys actually debuted.
nice,
Yes,
nice.
and I have never heard the original one before. After listening to the remix, I went and listened to the original one. I still think the remix is superior. That's probably very biased, but
Yeah, I think the Living Tombstone or
yeah.
the name of the people who made the original. I think they DM'd Nat saying that the remix was rad.
Oh, that must be surreal more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I will say, you've probably noticed me on Twitter before when it comes to wow, okay stuff. I'm the
Mhm.
one that's always constantly bugging about we should hang out. That's little
Yeah,
snippet.
yeah, we should hang out is the song that I was talking
Oh,
about.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm gonna be 100% honest. All right, ever since I heard that little snippet right there, I have been like scraping and clawing for more and more because that little bit right there was absolutely epic. Like that was
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I'm really proud of that song.
you should be like even that little like what 10-15 seconds you guys showed at that fest or whatnot, like I just got hooked instantly. Like I was I no joke, I like every time I listen to that, like I'm always like grooving and stuff with it, and I don't groove,
Yeah.
I don't dance or anything, okay. So you know you gotta be doing something good when you get that kind of reaction out of someone that doesn't
Yeah.
dance.
I'm so happy to hear that. That's awesome.
Like again, I just cannot wait to see more from what you guys do for Wow Okay, because like that song alone is the one that's gonna like it's already like just incredible what we've heard, and like listening to the full thing, it's just gonna be like heaven at this point, or like cloud nine at this
Yeah.
point. So
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry,
really,
I'm sorry if
yeah.
I'm just gushing about this, but like again,
No,
I'm
it's
excited
okay.
about this.
It's super like it's super bonkers to hear people like be positive about the things I make
Yeah.
still. So thank you.
I mean, like, there's that one, but like also "De Long Street" and the other songs that you premiered at that Wild Wild Fest. Like, those are all like really
Yeah.
well done. Like, how has the collaborative process been for you when it comes to working with Nat?
Um I guess it's a matter of one of us writes a chord progression or a beat, and then we just pass the stems along to each other.
Okay.
We work in different programs.
Oh, okay.
So what we'll do is that we'll kind of export each layer of the song individually. And then it's almost like we're just remixing each other's work, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
No, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Like songs like Day Long Street and We Should Hang Out, like that stuff is mostly like I make an instrumental, she sings over it. But other times it's very much like it's like ping pong, just like shooting it back and
Yeah.
forth until we feel like it's done.
Or maybe instead of "De Long Street," it's actually a two-way long street.
Yeah, yeah,
No, okay, it's always incredible because it's like collaborations, they can go a million different directions. So it's awesome to hear that like you guys are more or less like open. I would say when it comes to like how stuff
yeah,
is remixed or whatnot.
yeah. We're very in tune, like musically.
Good. That's always incredible to hear. Well, speaking of being in tune musically, let's get to music that's actually like right around the corner. By the time this podcast comes out, which will be January 14th, tomorrow your debut EP Once and Future will be sort of unveiled to the world. How excited are you first and foremost?
I'm very excited. I've released EPs under like different side projects before,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the first EP of mine that's just like non future funk, non like I don't know. It's just like actual music that I have written about myself.
Would you say that this is at the very least like the definitive Holidaykiss EP more than anything else for
Yes,
you?
yes. This is the definitive Robin EP. Like this is
Definitive Robin EP. Gotcha. Okay.
this. I feel like this EP is like what I have been working towards my entire musical life so far.
There we go. Okay, so I need to ask first off. Like, I've listened to it. Now, I'm the kind of person that I get hooked onto the beat before I actually get hooked onto the lyrics. And like the beats for
Yeah,
all these things, like they have this nice, like oddly like soothing tone. I want to know at least for you, like, what's the creative process when it comes to like making a song in general? Like, do you make the beats and then try to insert the music afterwards, or is it like you have an idea in your head, you try to make the beat around it? Like, what's your like creative process for making a song?
I think it's very much having an idea in my head and making a song around it.
Okay.
It's really interesting because what will happen is I can sit down at my computer in a music program for hours making beats that I do not like. Like
Okay.
I'll just make them and I'll be like, oh, okay, this is kind of shit. I'm gonna go to the next one. Just keep going. But then the beats that I end up releasing, like the music that I end up releasing, I don't remember making them.
Okay.
It's like I disappear and let my brain take over.
No. I get where you're
um,
coming from. That's interesting
yeah,
way of wording it.
yeah. Like often when I'm at work at the register, because I work in a grocery store for context for the listeners.
Hmm.
Um, and there's no customers. I'll just pull out a sheet of receipt paper and write down the arrangements of certain songs in my head,
Okay.
or just like write down song ideas. And I'll go home, take those sheets of receipt paper, and just try my best to translate my brain's wording into tangible audio.
It's like looking at like hieroglyphics and trying to translate them to the Rosetta Stone
Yeah,
or something like that, right?
yeah, exactly.
There we go. I was gonna say I can only imagine like after a while I imagine your grocery store is like, huh, we are ordering a lot more receipt paper than
Yeah,
before. Who took like
yeah,
an entire roll?
definitely.
um, so that actually kind of leads into like my next point, how you have kind of this idea and then you try to like build a song around it. As I listened to the song, again, like the beats were already like incredible for me, but then I like listened to it over and over again. Like I listened to the lyrics more than anything else. I have to ask, is this album more or this EP more or less a therapy session for you? Like just straight up?
Honestly, yeah. I could say yeah, I guess I should go a bit into like how I construct my lyrics.
Okay.
Um there's a really informative episode of the podcast Song Exploder,
Song Exploder.
uh
Okay.
which is about, talking to songwriters about how they write their songs.
Okay.
And they're talking with the lead singer of Weezer, Rivers Cuomo,
Okay.
and he was talking about how every day he writes in his journal just anything that comes to mind. Later, he'll pick the best parts, put it in a huge catalog of lyrics, and when he has to use lyrics, he'll try to make new meaning out of it.
Okay. Was that kind of
So,
is that kind of a practice you've adopted, or is that
yeah, I've absolutely adopted that. Like, there
okay?
are lines from Once and Future that are from a couple years ago.
Okay,
Um, that doesn't mean that the songs like are void of meaning. Every song is very purposeful, and every song has its own meaning,
hmm
like very intentional meaning. But I find that these stream of consciousness journal writings bring out like the most vulnerable and most like real expression of those thoughts for me. So I'll just take all the ones that are thematically linked and tie them together into one song.
okay. That also makes sense, and honestly, that can lead into so again, I've listened to the EP. For those who don't know, it's 6 songs. Like I would say, not even 15 minutes long, something like that. So if you
Yeah,
haven't had,
it's short. It's short and sweet.
I'll say if you haven't listened to it by the time you listen to this podcast, if it's out, definitely go listen to it because it's nice and it's easy to consume. But like, there's still a lot of thought that goes into it, especially the first song, which is quickly becoming my favorite song on the entire EP, "Crossing." Mainly because like the lyrics that you have in it is some of the most like introspective, and it's honestly one of the best written songs just period like that I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Like dead serious. Like the lines I wrote down a couple lines, but like the one that gets me immediately is I need to remind myself, not rewrite write yourself, not remind yourself, or not. I forget what the third one is. Like that's the part that like instantly like got me like whoa, this is like way deeper than I'm
Yeah.
thinking with this stuff. Like, do you want to elaborate on that lyric a little bit, like what you mean by that?
Yeah, so like I kind of go into more depth on this concept on the EP commentary, which you can
Oh,
get
okay.
if you buy the EP on Bandcamp.
Which I highly recommend. I've
Um,
already done so, even though I've listened to the EP several times.
hell yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Um, so I kind of consider the entire EP. I'm trying to see if I can remember all my thoughts on this. I kind of consider the entire EP like an arc of how one responds to a traumatic event.
Okay.
Half of it is that, and then the other half is like becoming a more authentic version of yourself.
Okay.
And it's kind of how those two concepts intertwine. And crossing is very much like the thesis statement that which the entire EP revolves around. Because every other song is about an individual aspect, an individual stage of processing something
Mm-hmm.
and becoming closer to being more authentic to yourself. Um, but crossing is just like a message from the end, a message from your future self looking back. Like, I don't know. It's
No,
just about,
I get where you're kind of
yeah,
getting from. Just kind of like like see, now I'm trying to find a hard way to describe this, but I know
Yeah,
I
it's a
get
hard
it.
concept to like fully describe off the top of your head.
It's like
But
that question, that hypothetical question you always get. Like, if you could go back and tell yourself from like 5 years ago something, what would
yeah,
that something be?
yeah, yeah. It's just the idea of like you will become more true to yourself and become a better human being through these things that you're experiencing.
Okay. I also wanted to say like this line as well. Also like got to me real quickly. Take advantage of the cards you're dealt. Like towards the end of that chorus
Mhm.
right there. I
Yeah,
like because with life, I think anyone can agree. Like it's not gonna always be sunshine and rainbows and such. So it's like you gotta take what you're given and do the best with what you got, more or less.
yeah,
With that one,
yeah.
which I
I kind
guess.
of
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Now I was gonna say
Uh,
it further kind of establishes that remind myself, not rewrite yourself, that we talked about previously.
yeah, yeah. That line is very much like it's very much like not trying. It's sorry.
No, you're fine. You're
the
fine.
the intent is like don't try to repress the things that make you you in order to become a you that you think other people would enjoy.
Is that sort of a common thought or thread that you kind of had with this EP more than anything else, or was it like more specifically with that
Yeah,
song?
I'd say through the EP, like I learned a lot of stuff about myself throughout the process of making this EP.
Mm-hmm.
I guess one of the main things is that I got diagnosed with high functioning autism
Oh, really?
during the process of making this EP.
Okay.
And, you know, a couple years ago when I first started considering whether or not I had autism, I was very like, no way, right? Like, I feel like I'm not autistic enough. But really, there's a lot of parts of me that looking back, it's like, oh, duh, of course. That I just kind of masked my entire life because it's not what people wanted from me.
So
And I
you
think,
sorry.
oh no, it's okay. And I think a lot of the really shitty events in my life led to a lot of my personal like discoveries like that. So I don't know. That's just kind of a huge driving force behind a lot of the EP as a whole, I guess,
Okay.
thematically.
Okay. I mean, I want to say I can understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like again, this is more or less like a personal experience for you that I'm sure others have experienced. But I mean, like this is basically you bearing your heart and soul out in music
Yeah,
form, more or less.
definitely, definitely. Yeah,
It,
yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna say, is that something you try to do with just all of your music as a whole, or is it like specifically this EP you want to be like, I just want to lay it all out there for everyone?
I feel like that's my music as a whole.
Okay.
I'm not very good at writing songs that are like stories about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't like all my songs have to be like personal like bloodletting.
Okay.
That's just how I write, and it helps me process the things that I'm going through. And also, I don't know, I just like being an open book.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, it's one of those. I mean,
Yeah,
if nothing else, like you can hear any sort of writer, they'll give the advice: write what you know best, and
yeah,
who better to know you than you? You know?
exactly. Plus, like at the end of the day, again, if someone is impacted by my work, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
If someone else who is feeling similar emotions reads the lyrics and understands what I'm feeling, then I could be broke on the side of a road and I'd still be happy.
There we go. That's always a good mentality to have, more than anything
Yeah.
else. Trust me, I try to like not force myself. I have to remind myself that kind of mindset when it comes to this podcast more than anything else, because it's like I want this like podcast to really do well, because I'm bringing like
Mhm.
interesting people that I love to talk to more than anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you've kept up with podcasts, and if you haven't, I completely understand. But like a couple weeks back, I had a guy. A guy's name was Joe Horn. He was the director of Class of 3000. Do you remember that show?
Oh, no way. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
dead serious. It's one of those like I was trying to explain this to last week's guest, which I don't know if you know him as well. Silverhound. Does that name sound familiar to you?
I don't know.
I was gonna say like I don't know how involved you are with the My Little Pony like music fandom or whatnot. I was gonna say he was very prominent there. He released an
Oh,
album.
hell yeah.
I would say he's an EDM artist that released a lot of stuff through there, and then recently he did stuff for Hasbin Hotel. Mainly this one song.
Oh, word.
Yeah, one song called Attic, which was a music video that it was originally just a simple song that actually had the voice actor of from the pilot on the song, and then like Vivzy Pop turned around, made it a music video. That music video has 66 million views right now.
Damn, you've got some wild guests.
I know, but it's like I'm looking at my analytics and such, and I'm only getting like 10, 20, 50 listeners.
Well,
But at
you
the same
got
time,
this. I believe in you.
I was gonna say more than anything else, like I've at least mentally accepted the fact that I don't care how many people sit down and watch this stuff, because more than anything else,
for you.
Yeah, it's for me. This is the content I would watch. I've legitimately listened to episodes over and over again because like because I get to talk to people that I truly admire, like yourself. Like I really do admire what you're doing. Like it's absolutely
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means like the world to me.
Yeah.
Also, I can absolutely relate to what you were just saying. Like all the songs, I can tell that I'm going to release a song when I listen to it over and over like it wasn't my own.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Like I whenever I listen to Once in Future, I feel like it's not my music. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this crazy artist that I'm listening to right now? I really enjoy this. And then I realize that it's myself, and I'm like, oh, I should release this.
And then you think to yourself, oh wait, I'm the crazy artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness. I mean, and I could only like wish to have just a fraction of the talent that you have, because it really is a talent to like sit down and like think of like music and stuff that like you would listen to and then actually make it. Because I know there's a lot of like time and effort and like thought and like experimentation that may succeed or may fail. That I can only imagine that like you go through on a daily basis when you make music.
Absolutely. I mean, Once in Future is like the final iteration of a million different projects.
Really?
Right? Yeah. I mean, I started last year.
Okay.
Or, Jesus Christ, 2 years ago now, because 2019. Oh, jeez.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So 2019, I started work on an EP called Wormcore Volume 1.
Okay.
Which is just like a meme title. It was just gonna be whatever. The idea being that I could make whatever kind of music I want and call it wormcore, and it would still work because wormcore is my genre, and I get to define the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on that. Like, if you've heard the single "White Grape Juice,"
I have.
Is how a lot of people were introduced to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was what wormcore was gonna be.
Okay.
But I found that my production skills were quickly getting better, and I quickly wanted to write more about serious things.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, no more wormcore. I need to be serious. And Once in Future is just the result of like a million attempts to truly get something down, something tangible down.
Nice. I mean, from what I've listened to so far, from what is to be at least the finished product at this point, I can tell like the time and effort definitely went into this, and all the million different attempts, because this is like legitimately some good music. Like I said, like I'm instantly falling in love. Well, not instantly, but I'm like quickly falling in love with Crossing. I've said before, that is like my personal favorite off of the 6 tracks.
Thank you.
Fail Safe. You already released that or whatnot, and it seemed to have a good reception more than anything else.
Yeah.
I also
people really enjoyed it.
Yes, I also want to say my like if I had to pick a number 2, Landlock is instantly like the one that I gravitate to.
Absolutely.
What was kind of like the mentality that you had whenever you decided to use that as more or less like a metaphor? Like what was like that supposed to be referring to like mentally?
Oh, Landlock?
Yes.
I guess Landlock in general is about the idea of it's about the idea of knowing that you need help, right?
Right.
Knowing that you need help, but it feels so far away. Um, to give context to like the literal metaphor of like the words,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a land. The lyrics are for those uninformed. Um, I'm in a landlocked state, but a mile away from my escape. Uh, I live in Philadelphia, as mentioned prior. Um, Pennsylvania is a landlocked state. It's next to a bunch of crazy big rivers, but it's not next to an ocean,
Huh.
except for the fact that I can drive 20 minutes and be at the ocean because I am literally right next to New Jersey, right next to Delaware, right next to like New York, all seafaring states. So I kind of like took that actual like geographical fun fact and kind of flipped it as like I feel like I'm in a state where I can't get out and I can't change and I'm just going to be stuck this way. And yet just a mile away, like not too far of a drive away is like the help I need. Like my escape from that mental state.
All right. No, I now that you actually like laid out a little more. Again, I saw the lyrics, but like actually like saying it out, it totally makes sense where you're coming from on that one. And
Yeah.
I imagine that I know this is a lot about you, but I imagine there's going to be a good chunk of people like when they listen to that, they know exactly that same sort of mentality, that same sensation more than
Yeah.
anything else.
I think I think landlock is going to be big for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. I also wanted to say like something that might also mean a lot to you. The interlude 2015. Is there a particular
Mm-hmm.
reason why you use like that specific year? Like was that like a substantial year for you or?
I'm gonna leave. That's the one thing that I'll keep a closed book for
Okay.
myself.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll just say that something happened in 2015 that was really awful, and I
Okay.
still think about it.
Okay.
And within like the context of the EP, it's like it kind of represents the idea of like these things end up. I don't want to say becoming a part of you, but like
There's
they
something
definitely
that
become a part of your psyche.
I was gonna say something that you never truly let go.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I don't want to I don't want to delve too much deeper into that, but I will
yeah,
say,
yeah.
I mean, there was also what was it, the last two on the album on the EP, Abyss and Caramelize. I do want to say, Caramelize. You've actually had that released for what a good 6-7 months at this point.
Yeah.
Was that always going to be a part of the EP, or was that something that like as you were putting it together, you were like, you know what, this would actually fit well right there.
Uh, so yeah, Caramelize was originally part of Wormcore,
Okay.
and so was Failsafe. But um, like when I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to continue doing Wormcore. I want to try doing something more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Caramelize was definitely like the core of that because
Okay.
Caramelize is super personal to me, and I was like, I want to make an EP of just caramelizes,
There we
and
go. No.
then I made Once in Future.
I Man, if only music was made that quickly. It's like I want to make a bunch of these. Here it
Just
is.
press the make music button. Yeah,
Press the make music on second. Was that Alt Tab? No, I'm joking.
yeah,
uh, or sorry, Alt F4. That's what it is, and then
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Pro tip, y'all: press Alt F4.
yeah,
That's the music button.
Or I mean, if you really want the music button, I believe it's the one that well, for some people, it might be top right, the power button. Let me see what that. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
yeah,
No, but like, okay, so basically, like, Caramelize was like it was the basis or more or less the foundation for what Once in Future would become, more or less,
yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Okay. Okay, I mean it's certainly a good foundation because I mean, from what I've seen, that I mean I know you only released a couple songs, but that's probably one of the more popular ones that I've seen so far across most of your platforms.
Yeah.
So
I mean, actually, if you look at the analytics, well, I guess only I can because it's on because
but
it's like my private stuff. But the analytics show that people haven't really listened to Caramelize as much as the others.
really,
Yeah, yeah. Which
huh?
I can't believe because personally, Caramelize is my favorite song I've ever written. Period.
Really, okay.
So I hope that the EP exposes the song.
I mean,
to a lot more people.
I'm sure it will. I mean, because again, I've said this before. Like, I want to say we are probably in like the we're probably in like the golden age of like short form like music. I would say because it's like we're getting these albums that are like 6-7 songs long or whatnot that have like that are just packed with just incredible music all around. Like I said, I've gushed already yours about gushed about Once and Future enough as it is. I had Vera Much on the podcast a little while back.
Hell yeah!
And like I was in love with her EP. Thank you. That EP is just something else. As a matter of fact, what was it? Parts and Motion is actually the outro song for this podcast. Mm-hmm. So,
oh hell yeah, that's awesome.
I went ahead and asked her. I'm like, "Do you think it'd be okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah, just make sure I get credit." I'm like I wasn't going to. Because again, as much as I'd love to be one to like make music, there is no way I have the time and patience for that.
That is so valid.
But like I still love to like appreciate it, and like again with this EP, like the songs that you have, like I really do hope that it gains like the traction that you deserve from it, because it's really like it's quite an emotional journey more than anything else once people actually sit down and like listen to it over and over again.
Thank you.
Like I can only imagine how it must have been from your front, because of the fact that this is your life basically being played out to the public.
Yeah,
more than anything
basically, else. Yeah. I do hope it does well. I mean, like organic reach on Twitter and Bandcamp and SoundCloud is very hard. I mean, there's kind of no telling how well it's going to do, but I hope it does well.
It seemed to already do a decent splash, because you were noticing the other day how it was one of the top albums listed on Bandcamp, which I must imagine.
Yeah, that was really bonkers.
Yeah, that must have like just blown your mind for a second there. Like, wait, what? People are actually what? Huh?
Yeah. I got $130 from Bandcamp.
Yo, that was really good. There we go.
Yeah,
make that
sales have slowed since, but I'm hoping that Bandcamp can end up becoming a good, decent source of revenue for me, because I gotta pay rent.
I mean, if nothing else, I'm sure once it actually picks up, maybe the Spotify train can eventually provide some monetization a little bit.
I hope so. That seems like a bit of a future goal, but.
Well, I mean,
definitely.
It's always nice to look forward to the once and future,
Absolutely. I have set like I don't know if I'd call it like a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
But I do have a goal of like having music be a decent revenue stream for me.
Okay.
I feel like revenue stream seems too corporate. But like I do need some money to help live, and I feel bad asking for money. Well, I mean, I'll just sell merch and music.
Yeah, which by the way, some of the merch that you've already like teased beforehand, like that Once and Future shirt, like that is some like legitimately good merch right there. Straight up.
Thank you. Yeah.
I need to
teespring.com/stores/holidaykiss.
There you go. Definitely gonna be having that in the description just for you.
Hell yeah.
As well as it won't be out. I might have to update it like the day after, but like whenever it does release, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and link the Bandcamp so that people can go ahead and buy the EP, because they should.
You can pre-order it.
You can pre-order it, and you get like commentary too. So like the stuff that we don't cover in this podcast, they can definitely explain it better than I can ask it at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty in-depth commentary.
Trust me, I'm looking forward to that as well, considering the fact that like I've already gotten like my own like mentality of like the motifs and stuff that is coming with this EP, but like
I can send it to you after the podcast.
Well, I already bought the Bandcamp one. You don't need to send it to me.
Okay, fair. Okay.
As well as I'm gonna get it one way or another, so you don't have to stress about it. Well, I mean, I forgot to mention. So with Once and Future, like one of the things I noticed is you've had a good bit of the collaboration with this on at least a good 2-3 tracks. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, 3 tracks. So half of it.
Yeah. For each of the people that were on, I wish I wrote down a list of who you had on the for the tracks. But like for each of them, how did that collaboration come to be, and how do you think they sort of helped with the production?
So I can just go like in order of the tracks and the track listing.
Okay.
Failsafe. I started it. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't entirely sure of the direction in which it should go.
Okay.
So I sent it to dubstep bass music prodigy, more Kismet. Super talented fucking kid. It's insane. They're godlike.
There you go.
And they just sent back these like really weird noises that just fit really well. So I used those little bits to construct a fuller song.
There you go.
I got a fellow hyperpop artist and also really fucking talented kid. It's crazy how talented people are at such a young age nowadays. Her name's Fixel. She did a verse. That was very much needed because I couldn't think of something.
There you go.
And it okay, yeah, I'll elaborate on the point I was gonna make later, but
Okay.
I needed an outro. I thought it'd be sick to do like an emo band because a lot of my roots in music comes from emo music.
Mm-hmm.
So I called up my friends at Khaki Cuffs, and they delivered with a super fucking banging outro.
Yeah.
And I think combined, Fixel and Khaki Cuffs contributions bring it brings the edge and anger that it needed. It brings the angst.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one thing I've noticed, at least with that song. Like, it's coming back to me now, but like, it seems like you're more or less like just telling, like, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like you're basically telling someone else is like, I understand who I am, and it's not good.
Yeah,
Mentality.
yeah. It was very much like, I don't know. I wrote it at about a point in college where I was just like, I felt so defeated, and I was like, I'm just gonna lay in bed for the rest of my life.
Mm.
No,
No.
I don't know.
Honestly, like, you'd be surprised. I've actually felt like that same way, like mentally. Like, there were times in college where like I did not want to get out of the bed to go to that class, even whether
I'd spend like I'd skip classes and I'd spend like periods of 4 days just like
Ooh.
not leaving my bed unless it's to use the bathroom, which was rough. But
No, again,
that song helped me get out of it. So
okay, that's good. That's good to hear. That's always good to hear.
yeah.
I was gonna say, because like I know that, again, I relate to that probably a little too well, and it makes me think maybe I do have a problem. Maybe I've had a problem for a while. But instead of therapy, I have a podcast, which is apparently is a stereotype online. I did not realize that.
And instead of therapy, I have music for an audience of people who also don't have therapy.
Hey, it's a lot cheaper.
yeah, it is.
Wow, that is morbid. I am sorry.
That is very morbid, but it's true.
People, if you need help, seriously, like, there are plenty of sources online. Yeah,
actually go to therapy. Therapy's actually good. It is better than deciding you're gonna spend your whole life making music.
Yeah, and also there are definitely a lot of good sources out there. Do not settle on the first one. If something does not resonate with you, try someone else. There's always
Absolutely.
Okay. There are gonna be people that are gonna be there for you. So if you seriously need it,
I've been to like 6 therapists.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like it never worked the first time.
Okay.
You just gotta keep trying.
Exactly.
You'll find it.
There you go. That's a good way to get us out of that hole. Get us out of that abyss more than anything else.
Yeah. Hey.
I was gonna say, speaking of that one as well, you also have a collaboration on that one as well. What was it like, sort of making that sort of collaboration on there?
Yeah.
To help sort of.
So the reason. Sorry. Yeah. The reason I got the artist that I did get, Kuru, I don't know how I pronounced it like that, it's just Kuru, on there. He did a song that I helped produce called Clueless.
Okay.
That's really popular, and I don't know why. It's got like 200,000 views on SoundCloud.
Okay.
It's on the Spotify hyperpop playlist, and I get like $15 a month from it.
Hey, so you do get revenue from Spotify.
Yeah. So like, I was like, I don't know. That's probably my biggest contribution to music so far. So like, I wanted to get them on. Not only is just like, I feel like that'd be really like full circle and great, and shit, but also, I feel like that song is very much like the perfect blending of natural and mechanical. Like just these really natural string samples, and like this really breathy synth mixed with like real drum sounds chopped into the drums.
Yeah.
And I felt like his really mechanical style of rapping, like his vocal processing sounds so processed and like fake and digital. And I thought that would just be perfect. Like just on a sonic level, that'd be perfect.
I mean, in my opinion, it certainly did. It certainly did sound like it blended really well in that one. So,
Yeah, yeah.
good job on your guys' behalf.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But and then of course, like I said, we've basically touched on the other songs. That's basically Once and Future. And like I said before, if this podcast is out, if you're listening to this after the EP is dropped, definitely go listen to it.
Yes, please.
It is a good collection of music that I would highly recommend to just about anyone, more than anything else. So, but I do want to say, like, so you have this EP that you're like ready to drop more than anything else.
Yeah.
What about after that? What should we expect more from you?
Well, I gotta check the date to make sure I have the right date in mind. But I am performing a set at a Minecraft festival called Rat Rave.
Okay.
I believe on the 21st or 22nd.
I think it's like 22nd because I saw you retweet one of their tweets. I think.
Yeah, January 22nd. That is when I am performing. I will be. If you are listening to this before Rat Rave, check it out because I will be performing new songs from what comes after Once and Future.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I need to set some time aside for that one as well.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to make like promises,
right,
as to what my future holds, but I know what I am considering doing. And again, don't take this as gospel. I'm considering making another 6-song EP.
Okay.
Called Now and Forever.
Okay.
The idea being that it's like almost like the side B of a combined album.
Okay, for like
with Once and Future and Now and Forever.
That's clever.
And then,
that's clever.
Yeah, and then I could sell a physical version, like combine them into one full album, make it one full experience.
Like even like combining the names, just Once and Future, Now and Forever, like that would flow off the tongue, honestly, and that I would love to see that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm considering doing that. We'll see. I have some big collabs down the line.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. I don't know if I can say, but very exciting.
If nothing else, let's let people speculate. In fact, I want to go ahead and speculate just a little further. You said you got some big collabs down the line.
Yeah.
But like I have to know, like I've asked this to every single one of the other like music guests that have been on here. What is the dream collaboration for you? Like, let's say I'm the executive. I walk in. I'm like, I have access to every single musician, producer, songwriter, you name it. I will have you in a session with them, and either you could make a song with them or you could produce their album. What is your dream project?
Whew. I want to make music with anybody from Ed Banger Records.
Okay.
It's a French electronic label with Justice, Sebastian, Mr. Oizo. Really cool, groovy, funky, and yet really unique and distorted French electronic music. Also, I would love to have a song written by, as I mentioned earlier, the lead singer of Weezer, Rivers Cuomo. I think he's like one of the best songwriters of the past couple of decades. Like if I were to make it into Hollywood somehow, the first thing I would do is be like, okay, where's Rivers Cuomo? I want him to write a song for me.
There you go. No, you watch. It's like we'll give you Rivers Cuomo, but it's B.O.B. Magic Rivers Cuomo. Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm okay with that. Bring it on.
There you go. I mean,
make it work.
I say it as a joke, but let's be honest, that was actually a pretty good song.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Rivers Cuomo and Weezer in general is that like for every 8 stinkers, there's one piece of like just like unbelievable like complexity and like beauty. Like he's such a smart songwriter on the songs where he actually tries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if nothing else, he certainly has like the years of experience behind it. I mean, goodness, how long has Weezer been around, just in general?
Yeah, I mean, like Jesus.
Like
30 years.
30 years. It hasn't been 30 years. It doesn't feel like 30 years. It really doesn't.
It's been 30, yeah, almost 30 years.
Good Lord, I'm feeling old. I'm only in my 20s.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Oh, goodness.
Can't believe they're still at it.
Yeah. And like they can still pull out like some really amazing stuff too. Like it's nothing to like, it's nothing to what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's nothing to joke about. Like
Yeah,
they're still like, and the fact that they're still like doing stuff, like it's always wow. Good
absolutely,
Lord.
yeah.
God,
Yeah, I could talk about Weezer for a very long time.
you know, let's talk about Weezer for a little bit. We got time on this
Okay.
podcast. Like, shit.
Okay, let's go.
What got you interested in them in the first place?
Um, I had a music history class in middle school,
Okay.
and they showed the music video for Buddy Holly, and I was
There
like,
we
"This is
go.
good." So then I got into Weezer a bunch. I think my favorite Weezer album is the White Album, which came out in 2016.
Okay.
I can send you some like choice songs from that era.
Okay.
It's just so brilliant. It's so I wish I could put into words like how brilliant the songwriting just on like a lyrical level and just like a like like the harmonies, like the chord progressions.
Well, I mean, what about it's kind of obvious to kind of ask this question, but what about them like really like drew your attention more than anything else? Because I know that, I mean, anyone can say that they're a good band, but like for you, like it's like it hits a little deeper for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, Weezer's like I'm like back in my like third or fourth Weezer phase at this point at the moment.
There's no shame in that.
Something about how they blend the God, I'm trying to think of how to put my feelings on Weezer into words. It's just like perfect pop music, but delivered in such a gritty way,
Such
and
an
yet
unconventional
also
way.
such a clean way.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to like Jamie, a B-side from their first album, like it is the most distorted guitars you've ever heard, and yet they sound so clean and they sound so precise and just sound like they're glued together so like majestically. But I feel like if you were to play that song with another arrangement, it would be a Beach Boys song.
Okay.
Like they're just like perfect little, like the best Weezer songs are just perfect pop songs with such a really incredible formula delivered in such a raw way.
Okay. Now I get where you're coming from. Was there ever a moment to where like Weezer just kind of impacted you just that little bit differently? Like when was it for you like more than just like a love for Weezer to like holy fuck these guys like defined me?
The White Album.
The White Album? Okay.
Yeah, because I was in high school. I was 15 at the time.
Okay.
And like Weezer to the general public and to the general music listening public, Weezer has made very shitty music for a very long time. After a couple years of making really really good music,
Mm-hmm.
and they were kind of like going back on the up, right? Like their music was getting better and better, and like the White Album was just like it surpassed every single expectation I had for it. And rarely do I cry over music just over the quality of the music itself.
Oh.
But, like I cried listening to the White Album the first time, and I was like, "Damn, this is like a new favorite of all time." And then I was like, "Yep, this." Like I don't care if they continue to release shitty music, which they somewhat have after, but yeah, the White Album is just fucking insane.
I was gonna say, so the thing is, and I don't know, I don't know how well you're gonna take this or whatnot. I was gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
the way that you felt with that White Album and whatnot, there's been a moment or two when I've actually listened to your EP and like I felt myself like tear up a little bit, mainly with Crossing. That's
Oh
like
my god,
yeah, like straight up, like that's the one where it's like, oh my god, this is something different for me.
that means so much to me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I mean, I know what was it? Like whenever I had Nat on the podcast, we were talking about actually Tyler the Creator, who's a major influence for me. I was gonna say she had told me that like Igor like gave her a good cry more than anything else.
Yeah, Igor just like put me in shock. Igor is
Yeah.
I put Igor like top 3 albums of the decade.
There we go. That's a good way of wording it. I thought you were just gonna say like at least top Tyler, but like, absolutely when I say the decade, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Like that just hits
Igor's nuts.
different. Like it's amazing how he's able to like just like put himself more into songs. Like basically
Yeah,
like what you're doing with Once and Future. He basically did that with Igor and then some in like a musically like unique way that's like so hard to describe. Really.
yeah. I really like. I know Once and Future is an EP,
Hmm.
and I feel like I want to make EPs for the foreseeable future until I can make something as cohesive, both like thematically and like musically, like sonically, as Igor.
Okay. Okay. No, I totally respect that, and I honestly can't. I can't wait for the day whenever you do release like that thematic album. Like
Yeah,
that's gonna be like incredible more than anything else.
yeah. It's gonna be in the pipeline for a little bit. It's gonna take some
Yeah.
time.
Well, speaking of the pipeline, let's get back to. I want to ask this little question again. You got the EP coming out. You got some potential future collaborations or whatnot. You got Wow OK as well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask the generic question. Where do you hope to see yourself, say 5, 10 years down the line?
I don't think I have an answer.
Okay, no, I respect that. I respect that.
I think I'm just going. I'm just going with the flow at this point. I'm going with what feels right. I feel like it's kind of overdone at this point to say that last year was the like great disruptor of all years,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But seriously, I mean, there are several points like January, February. I thought last year was gonna be a really big IRL year for me, right? Like
Mhm.
touring, all that stuff. I was gonna put out a different EP than what eventually came out.
Mhm.
Uh, sorry, getting a drink of water.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, early part of the quarantine, I didn't expect to end up back in Philadelphia again, but family conflicts forced me to run to Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
Like that in itself is a huge like life shift and future shift, right? So
Right.
like, especially after that, I'm like, I have no idea what the future holds. I just want to have one, and I'm gonna go with what I like. Go with what's in my gut, and just hope it works out.
Uh, you'll know how much I'm like relating to you on this. Like dead
Yeah,
serious. Like this is. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from, and I kind of have that same mentality because I, I'll I'll reveal a little bit about myself right here. It's one of
mm-hmm.
those like I was in college. I'm in Georgia, by the way, around
Mm-hmm.
Athens. I was in South Georgia for
Mm.
college and stuff, and like
My parents met around Athens.
really,
Yeah.
okay, cool. That's honestly interesting to hear. No, I was gonna say so. Like I went to college in South Georgia for like it was supposed to be just a standard 4 years, but like I ended up being there a little
Yeah.
bit longer because like for me like mentally like college is it's just something else, and I think
College is a bitch. Yeah.
that's probably the
I had to
best.
take a gap semester last semester. It's fucking
Okay,
awful.
I've been taking at least a gap year at this point.
Yeah.
um but it's like but like the thing is I want to like sit down at some point and actually finish it because I'm literally one semester away, like 15 hours. Like
Wow.
I
Yeah.
and it's like like I thought I wanted to be like a filmmaker, and I still do. Like that's still like the ultimate end goal. Like I said, I have posters on my wall right here of films that I've made, sorry, over
Oh, that's
there,
awesome.
of films I made that have actually gone to like film festivals and such, and
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
I've won awards and shit. But like it's all cool and it's nice, but at the same time it's like what's my future with that, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what I could do, but it's like I don't know if I could be the one to do it.
Yo, that's a very true feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like like I'm back home with my dad right now, and like I'm actually working with him at this warehouse, night shift or whatnot, and
Yeah.
like it's a very good job, but I know that like it's a job, not a career. So what do I want to have my
Yeah.
career? And like I'm not banking on this being it, but I've had more fun with this podcast than I've had with like 4 or 5 years of college. I've only done this thing since I've only done this since September of last year.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely like I know personally that's definitely like a hard sell for like family members, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom would always be like, "Okay, but like what's the real job, right?
Yeah,
Like what about what like what's your health insurance going to be like?"
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm like and my answer would always be like, "Look, when I decided for myself that I want to try to pursue I want to at least attempt to pursue music as a full-time thing, I didn't go into it because I wanted to not have health insurance, not because I wanted to not have a stable income, but because I wanted to entertain people. And I'm okay with going for the risk.
yeah. If nothing else, you're doing what you love more than doing
Yeah.
what you have to do more than anything else.
I'm
Because
I'm just yeah, like I'm just trying my best. If it doesn't work, I'll spend the rest of my life working at a grocery store, which like that would make me equally as unhappy as if I spent the rest of my life studying something other than music and not giving it the shot that it deserves.
I mean, I was gonna say on my behalf. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna get that degree. Like I said, at this point, I've
Yeah,
already spent so much time, and Lord knows how much money
you
I'm paying. I'm.
gotta at this point.
It's one of those I've spent so many on college loans alone already that if I don't finish it, I'll be more or less frustrated with myself. I'd be like kicking
Yeah,
myself in the tail end. But
yeah.
but it's just like again, like part of me, I'm not banking on this working, either this or like voice acting. I'm actually starting to get into voice acting myself.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, like so I had a guest a couple weeks back. Their name is Antonio Freire.
Uh-huh.
He's an indie game developer who's making this game
Oh
called
yeah.
the Chameleon, which is supposed to be this like if Metal Gear Solid didn't have the weapons but had superpowers. You know,
Oh, that's
like
sick.
all the way down to the aesthetic because it's supposed to be like reminiscent of like the PS1, PS2 era
Yeah,
graphics and stuff, which is something he
yeah,
intentionally did. Well, after the podcast, I usually am like, hey, if you need like voice acting or something like that, I'm more than willing to help out. And
yeah,
I was offering it as kind of like, hey, the guards need to make a noise or something like that, so I could just do like a
yeah,
standard oof or something like that.
yeah,
But now the dude's like, well, actually, the main guy, I was having a guy be had to back out do the life stuff. I need someone to voice basically the main character of the game. Would you like to? And I'm like,
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
fuck?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which, by the way, for those who are interested, it is out. The demo is out. Which I'll leave a link in the description, and the game should be out like mid 2021. My voice is in the demo. It's
That's
fucking
so sick.
insane. It blows my mind, and
That's
like,
so sick.
and so it's like I want to like try to make that a thing.
Yeah,
Because like I've always been amazed with like cartoons and video games and stuff, like how people are basically able to like put themselves into it without doing like the facial you know reaction, like actors,
yeah,
like they make Academy Award, you get the Academy Awards and stuff, and like people are believable with that kind of stuff, but like they have to put all
yeah,
themselves into it. Imagine having to do that and like expressing that emotion, but you can only use your voice. That's a fucking challenge. Okay.
yeah. Voice acting is awesome. It's super, super crazy
Yes,
talent.
I would highly recommend if you like really want to do it, at least like try. You know?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a neat thing to do.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
There you go. There you go. Goodness, I'm sorry if I've like derailed the
Oh my
podcast a little
gosh,
bit, but
it's totally fine.
I do want to say,
I derail conversations all the time. It's no big deal.
but I just wanted to say like this conversation. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten a lot more like like introspective than I've ever had with any podcast. So I personally want to say thank you for that. That's
Yeah, of course.
um
When I'm on, it's a chill time, I guess.
there you go. There you go. Um well I want to say I want to sort of wrap up with this little question real quickly.
Mhm.
Anyone can argue, I mean anyone can easily make the argument that music is art. So I want to know
Yeah.
that for you, how important is art not only for you but for the world as a whole?
Ooh. I think art is fundamental to the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go back to like, I feel like it's not a very controversial or like hot take for me to say that like, yeah, for me to say that art is part of the human experience, part of the human condition. I mean, you go back thousands of years, and you got caveman paintings and like caveman instruments. I mean, art is necessary for humans to thrive, because humans need to constantly make art, and humans need to constantly absorb art. I I think it helps create a better understanding of the world, and I think especially in the case of more emotional, personal art, like like personal books or the kind of music I make, or really deep, impactful movies. It helps someone understand other people. Like it helps. It helps show you that you're not alone. Like that there's other human souls that feel the same things you do. They're just expressing it a different way. And B, like it helps you understand that like the true depth of human experience, I guess.
I cannot think of a better way to word it. That was very wonderfully worded, and I do appreciate you saying that.
Thank
With
you.
with that, I'm all out of questions. Robin, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. I,
Yeah.
I I've already gushed enough about the EP, but seriously, it has been one of the best listening experiences I've had within the past couple years or so, and I really do hope
Thank you so much.
I really do hope that people give it the time to like sit down and listen to it, because it's a really I think it can impact a lot of people more than just a good listening experience, more than anything else. And also, I guess thank you for the free therapy session, because I did not
Yeah.
I did not expect to like divulge so much into myself on this podcast. I wanted it to be more focused on you, and I apologize if it seems like I focused
No,
on me.
it's so valid. It's a good conversation to have.
Yes,
I feel like this EP definitely brings that kind of conversation out.
it definitely should. And I hope that if this is how I'm feeling with it, I can only imagine how other people are going to be feeling with it as well. And I honestly
Yeah.
cannot wait for the reception. I sincerely hope the best for this EP and for everything that you do afterwards. Like
Yeah,
with
thank
all
you
this
so
stuff.
much. Yeah, you're all this like praise means a lot to me, like genuinely. I'm still like not used. Again, I might have mentioned this earlier, but I'm still not used to people like knowing who I am and like saying the things I do are good.
Well, hopefully I can be just one of the few for now, but soon one of many, more than anything else.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll tell you what, the faster you release, we should hang out, though. I think that number's going to go way, way. I'm joking. I'm
All
joking.
right,
I'm
we'll
joking.
see. We'll see.
We'll see whenever that eventually does come. Go ahead and plug yourself for the people at home.
Okay, I'm trying to think of how I can plug myself. Listen to Once in the Future. It's out on all major streaming platforms. It's out on Bandcamp. It's out on SoundCloud. You can buy it on Bandcamp. I also have merch at teespring.com/stores/holidaykiss, I believe. Follow me on Twitter at holidaykiss_. Um, yeah, Once in the Future forever.
I mean, if nothing, there you go. I was gonna say, if nothing else, I'm gonna make sure to have those links in the description below for the people as well.
Yeah.
So, I got you covered. I got you covered.
Thank you.
Do you have any final words before we sign off?
Thank you for this opportunity. It's a really neat experience, and
Well,
I loved being here.
well, thank you for taking time out of your day. Again, I really do appreciate this from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, of course.
It's been one of the more interesting podcast experiences I've had so far, and I've only done. You'll be what, the 16th episode I've done. So yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, there we go. And now, for the people at home, all I have to say is, hasta luego, mi amigos.
Adios, y'all.